Hello, everybody. Oh, it's too loud. Hi. I'm so glad to be here. I'm a bit nervous. It's my first GDC, first talk. So, yeah. Thank you. It was definitely on my bucket list. It's so glad to see so many nice and friendly faces. I'm talking to you, Jeremy. Yeah. So this presentation will contain spoilers. So if you haven't played expansion packs, you can sometimes cover your ears and eyes. But before we get down to the business, I'd love to just introduce myself properly. So my name is Sebastian Kalemba, and I'm animation director at CD Projekt RED. I work there on a Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and then both expansion packs. Right now, we are working on Cyberpunk 2077. Before, I worked at a company called Platige Image in Poland in a cinematic department as a lead animator. And even before, I worked in England for the Real-Time UK on a few AAA titles like Kinectimals or Disneyland Adventures. On daily basis, I'm an animation tutor at iAnimate, and I really love it. And fun fact is, I used to be a vice champion of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Poland, so I love motion not only in games. But before we move forward, I'd love to introduce this great team of animators, producers, cinematic designers, and TDs. So, pushing boundaries. Let's talk about them. For the Wild Hunt, we had to deliver around 16,000 assets in 3 years. The game is quite big. I don't know if you played that, but it's like 200 hours to finish it with side quests and minors. For the expansion packs, we had to deliver just 50 hours, but we did more animation content. I will talk about that in a minute. So, we had, in essence, we had like half of that time because that was just a year, and we had to deliver even more animations in less time. So I'm now going to show you the showreel. It's just 5 minutes. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. It's from expansions. Thank you. So here's the agenda. Mind you, I won't talk about our daily work. I will talk more about how we took our existing skill set after main game and we just straight jump into the expansion packs. We had to upgrade our pipelines and workflow a little bit because there was a little like too much content. We'd be scared of that. So we had to pimp this fundamental like basics in our workflow. So I'm going to talk about improving communication, and this helped with speeding up many processes, focusing on character motivation, which helped us on a quality, and reorganizing the animation department during this 1 year, which helped us with both time and quality. But starting with tech, there's a tiny background I want to tell you. We worked all expansion packs and main game using the Motion Builder 2010. Just Motion Builder. There was no time to make re-exporters, jumped into the new version of Motion Builder. So we sometimes really been like Geralt looking at the roach on the roof, getting some crazy bugs. We had really stable tech, and that was good. So we felt like Geralt in an armor and with two swords. But at the same time, we get the high level like message from the production that we shouldn't bother so much the programmers because they need to focus on, of course, cyberpunk. At the same time, I must say that animators as a mockup specialist, they've been like 1 man's band. We've been like 1 man's band. So we didn't have, like even the motion capture department that time, it wasn't like an independent team. We have very small studio. We have to, like mockup studio, I mean, we have to manage the mockup by ourselves. So we got an idea, we got some story, we had to mockup by ourselves, we had to clean it up by ourselves, and then we had to animate by ourselves. So it was really sometimes frustrating. So first things first, communication. And this relates to pushing the time boundary. And it's not that like we haven't communicated before. Of course we did a lot, but still we could definitely optimize some parts of the communication. So as Lana mentioned at the beginning, I need to start from the keys rule. So honestly, that was the most important thing. In expansion packs, I knew that we have a year, so I wake up every morning, went to the bathroom and kiss myself in front of the mirror. And I'm not a vain, yeah? I'm just, I was telling myself that keep it simple, stupid. There's no time for crazy iteration process. So that was definitely the most important role during the production of expansion packs. Second, abundance of cool, not unnecessary ideas. It's like, yeah, you know that. It's like having a lot of ideas is as bad as having no ideas at all. So this rule, like a keep it simple rule, and like having like a really clarity at the beginning of each process of creating monsters or main NPCs in the game, it was helping us a lot. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Lack of structure and formalizing the pipeline by templates. So we incorporated templates into our production. We start communicating even more often with the design team and the story, and it was a really infinity loop because our games are heavily story-driven. Everything comes from the story. So we had to really make sure that if you really the question always was like at the beginning, if you want to make your character really grounded in the world, you have to make sure that the story department knows about that and agrees. So before, as I said, we communicate, but the process was a little bit messy and it looked like that. So for example, you see the Toad here, yeah? The first boss in the Hearts of Stone expansion pack. So that was the process at the beginning, like, we got the idea, you have to make a Toad, but it's like, what Toad? Prince Toad. So, okay, another Dandelion, yeah? Beautiful, handsome guy. But yeah, it's a dark fantasy game. So Dark Prince? Okay, but the design said, hey, guys, we need to have a range attacks. They have to have the Toad has to have tumors on his back. His tongue has to be covered with spikes. So we're like, oh my God, don't tell us, yeah? So we need to put some blisters on his face because of, That's exactly what I'm talking about. Keep it simple, stupid. We start narrowing down the basics, design, and the animation process as soon as possible. So that finally the guy in the game looked like that. Hey, man. Yeah. And in the, let me show you. That's the part. Yeah, but thought was rather simple. This guy was a nightmare. Because normally, in very small strike teams, we spend like 3 months on each monster, each boss fight, I'm talking, each boss fight. And Detlef was a little bit more difficult. You know vampires, yeah? Vampires are supernatural. They are transforming into mist. They can rip apart the human beings so quickly. So, yeah, that was the Detlef first form. But then we knew that this guy is the final boss of whole game in the end of expansion pack 2, Blood and Wine. And we got those concepts. Yep, so, okay, this guy is transforming into that thing. And we have to make him fly, we have to make him walk, run, and then, like, we didn't even know how to manage this guy from the body mechanics perspective, you know? We cannot transform the model during the fight so many times. So that was his first monster stage. As you see, we even changed a little bit the communication with the FX department. You see those tiny helpers around him? With the animator, the owner, Tizian, he actually animated those helpers just to show FX artists how we want to make the effects supporting the whole animation. And it definitely like speed up the process of creating effects a lot. But yeah, that was the first stage. And this is exactly where we've iterate, my God, like 3 months. We had altogether, we had like just 6 months. We should have like, honestly, like 9 months. But we had just 6 months for that guy with a very small team. And what we had this guy. We knew that at some point, we need to get him down. So we need to chop his wings off. And what's then? We've been iterating and talking to story, what's then? And they said, okay, guys, let's fight with the construct of his blood in illusion of his heart. And be like, yeah, good. But how to do that? So here you have a few examples of this construct. The idea of construct, he was brainless. He was kind of magic monster, like very aggressive and quick. And there's the scene when we are chopping his wings off. So yeah, guys, this template saved our lives. Honestly, we finished Detlef in 6 months, and that was a really big challenge for us. So the second the most important thing we did during the expansion packs was pushing a little bit the character motivation. And how we did that? I've already told you that story is the king in our games. Like, no matter what, story has to drive everything. And we constantly talk to story. So we got this template which really speed up the iteration process. The iteration process was really dynamic. So we communicate a lot. So we get this idea of getting this template and communication sorted out as soon as possible, and we made out of almost every animator was like a supervisor of an NPC or a monster, so they've been not even just actors, they've been even co-directing each monster on a mock-up session, and that really helped us a lot, because with that template, on the first day of the mock-up shoot, we had a brief, we knew everything about the character, so directing the characters was really like much easier. Not easy, but way more easier. So we had these dedicated teams for every monster. That every department like had his own like this artist specialist in every single monster department. So say always like 8 people in one strike team. And as I said, because of that, because of having those people around the one monster, the process of iteration was really dynamic. They've been communicating all the time on daily basis. So this is a good example of Olgierd. Is a first boss fight in the first expansion pack, Hearts of Stone. So what's cool about Olgierd? Olgierd is a human being, and we've been like, okay, Geralt is killing monsters every day. So how to make a human being a demanding enemy to Geralt? But yeah, we got this message from the story that this guy is actually immortal. So yeah, so if he's immortal, how to show it through the gameplay animation, through the combat? I mean, like, would be cool to show that because he's a noble guy, he signed a pact with the devil, and he doesn't care. He has everything he wants. So we wanted to show that he's really cocky, that even his idle position in a fight is really open. He's like even inviting you to kill him, because he doesn't care. He even doesn't like check where you are. It's like he's just constantly like very cocky and aggressive guy. But we've been like thinking about what kind of combat style we should develop, we should work on. And finally, we found that in 17th century, in Poland actually, the combat, like the cross sabers masters, the saber masters, they developed this combat style, very deadly style, called cross saber. They called them like the Polish samurais, let's say. The stance was very open. That's the let's say idle position for them. The position was very open. The sabers were very light, so they could deliver so many attacks in a second. They've been like twirling around the enemy, really, and the style was very cheaty and dirty. So they really been killing enemies very quickly. The sword masters didn't have like any chance to even fight with them. So really, we've been studying that. And finally, this is a part of the mock-up session. It's one of the first days of the training sessions with Maciek Kwiatkowski. I love the stuntman. He's amazing. I call him, his nickname is washing machine, because you can program him, and next day you just press the button and it works. It's crazy. Muscle memory is just unbelievable. So this is how the Olgierd looked like in Maya, in Motion Builder, of course, as like a final polished game loops. As you see, very open position. No, he didn't even use the hard blocks. Yeah, the cross saber masters, they just parried. They parried just to kill you. Very offensive style. So it fit perfectly into his character. We did the same thing with cinematics and dialogues. We have our own, like a dialogue system. And let's talk about Regis and Henrietta now. So Henrietta, she was a queen of Blood and Wine, yeah, of the Bouclair in Blood and Wine. So we developed like just custom poses to her, just to make her more queen look like, yeah. But she's not a typical queen, yeah. Of course, we made a lot of custom acting choices, and just to make her more queen-like and feminine. But at the same time, she had a really high temper. So we need to somehow connect those two worlds, this high temper and being very noble and queen-like regal. So here's the part of the cutscene when she is like, you know, probably this advert from Mentos. So as you see here, she just got angry, and she even doesn't want to wait for Geralt. She gets on the horse because she needs to help her people.
Mind it doesn't get wrinkled. Onward! Hey! That is silk! Be careful! Give it to me!
Poor guy. And Regis? Yeah, he's a vampire. So you might think that we could copy Detlef's moveset or whatever, but he's a completely different guy. And we could even tell that if they knew physics there, he could be a physics teacher. Like, check this guy. He's very like this static pose. He's a scientist slash biologist vampire. Even his facial expression is very calm. And of course, there is still his first most important nature. So until he smells blood and you piss him off, he is like this, but still.
Scent won't bother me anymore.
Yeah. And the third thing, they're organizing the animation department. So there's a quality and time boundary. What we used during the main game and the first expansion packs, we used the old OptiTrack system. And as I said before, the animator was one-man band. So in the middle of creating expansion packs, we bought new icons, we extend our area of shoot, and we made mock-up as an independent team. We've hired a motion capture specialist who helped us a lot because animators could really focus only on the animation then. So we've been at least getting the clean data from shootings. So to sum it up, we did like 50% of the main game animation-wise in a better quality in half the time, with deeper and more story-focused characters, more refined monster designs, and better overall animation quality. And oh shit. I would like to just say one more thing, that it's, in my opinion, just to really sum it up, I must say that the most important thing is always to just try to, at least once per week, take a step back, and no matter what, if you are in the middle even of the production, it's good to try at least check like a big picture where you are, because people, like at least me, I I tend to really skip the basics sometimes. And in my opinion, like stepping back before creating the expansion packs and really improving the most important, the crucial, the fundamental steps at the beginning help us a lot in creating the expansion packs. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.